A special guest making an introduction. He's going to introduce Garth. His name is Paul Arrigo, and he's the president of Visit Baton Rouge. So, Mr. Arrigo.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Good afternoon. So, where you been? We're so excited to have you in town. We haven't heard you calling since last fall when we beat A&M. Boy, you had a lot to do with it. Mr. Garth Brooks, you have had such an impact on this community. We are so in love with ourselves again. This feels like 2020 championship football season. Thank you so very much, and it is a pleasure to introduce you here to Baton Rouge.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor. Appreciate what you said. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. How you doing, sir? Thanks for this. To say we're excited is an understatement. But the truth is, we're going to look at this as a game. We're going to look at it as a competition. I feel sorry for everybody that's in the stadium tomorrow night. Just telling you right now. Just get ready. You're going to get your ass kicked. I'm so fired up, so excited, so happy to be here. This is going to be loud. This is going to be stupid, and it's going to be all night long. So that's kind of what we're hoping is going to happen. But trust me, from the downbeat, that's what everybody's been talking about all week. From the downbeat is the phrase we're using. You cannot play a crowd this large and expect to catch up if they get out in front of you. So we're excited. Not intimidated, not scared. The only thing you're scared is that you might let somebody down. That's the whole thing. So you go out there and do your business. Try not to try too hard. If that makes any sense? Just simply because your job's pretty easy. They came here to hear the old stuff. Bring it. And what we found is if you play enough old stuff, they'll let you play some of the new stuff too. But we're expecting them to show up big in voices. And so throughout the press conference today, you'll see that kind of just keep kind of being reiterated through here. Ms. Kim, do we have anything we need to announce? We good? All right. These press things are a little bit weird because it's kind of weird to talk at you. I'd rather talk with you. So we like questions. If you don't have any questions, we can move directly to the White House. Yes, ma'am. What is your name?
I'm Jan Risher. I'm the features editor and the advocate. And we had a lot of fun this week. We had a contest. Even though the song is perfect,
yes,
our readers told us so, we had a contest to update the lyrics.
Oh, really?
Technology-wise.
Yes, ma'am. For
Colin Baton Rouge. And just thought you might enjoy some of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have any off the top of your head?
Yeah, I've got one right here. A replay of last night's events are on my phone, except a pick or two erased and now they're gone. I see a self-store sign ahead, so I changed lanes. I need to charge my phone and text her number once again, text in Baton Rouge.
It's very sweet. Now, have you told these people that no phones are allowed at all in the stadium?
We will not mention that.
Can you imagine? No, we're going to wear them out in that 3 minutes, whatever it hits in the show. I'm hoping I even have my phone on, because I think that's why probably 99% of us showed up, was just to be here in this stadium when that moment happens. It's an epic moment. I will say this: they can give you Grammys, they can put you in Hall of Fame. That stuff's cool. Getting a frickin' text from your buddies that are in the stadium here when they do call in Baton Rouge and you get to see it will make you cry, make you jump up. Coolest thing. Never thought it would happen. I mean, it's always for some other artist, right? It's never you. And what I also love about this school, since we don't stream on anything, 99% of the stuff I hear that people think is Garth Brooks is not Garth Brooks. What you play here is Garth Brooks, and it's very flattering, very honoring, and I hope that 3 minutes lives up to what people are going to do.
while we're talking,
Yes, sir.
while we're talking about the song, I guess just when you got that song, you get so many songs. When you got that song initially, what were your thoughts?
What is your name?
Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Nice to meet you.
Well, first I heard it was a group called Newgrass Revival, and we were all on the same level on Capitol Records. Newgrass Revival, pound for pound, there's 4 of them. The greatest 4-man group ever assembled, ever in music. Doesn't matter if we're talking about the boys from across the water. There's nobody more talented than those 4 guys together. If there was ever 5 of them, add Flux in, Jerry Douglas, the dobro player, who will be in the Hall of Fame as well. So their version of Callin' Baton Rouge I thought was fantastic. The original recording of it that I hear was from the Oak Ridge Boys in the early 80s. I didn't know that. So, but what I heard with Callin' Baton Rouge from Newgrass was it died in the 30s. And I'm driving real close to here, probably right across the Texas line with the radio rep the week they lose their bullet. I'm going, well, I thought that song would be a #1 song. He goes, well, you know, songs with cities in the titles don't do well. I'm going, oh, really? Is anybody going to San Antonio? I mean, Abilene? Can we talk about the city of New Orleans? Well, are you kidding me? So I always vowed that if I ever got a chance to cut that song, I would. And Newgrass was sweet enough to come in and play on it with Flux. And so it was a fun record. Did we know we had that record when you cut it? Yes, you know it. But all this time later, it's a surprise that, well, the hell it's a surprise I still have a career, because you just don't have them that long. And I'm very surprised that song still, no matter where you're playing around the world, when someone goes, what's the one song that's going to set everything up on a tee? It doesn't matter where you're at, Callin' Baton Rouge is that song. Yes, sir.
What makes Baton Rouge so special to you?
What is your name?
Perry.
Perry. What I love about it, Perry, I'm sorry for being a guy, I probably shouldn't say this, and right now Kim's up there cringing going, please don't say it. It's short, quick, and it's fun. And what happens is the second you play it, everybody just starts glowing from the inside. It's cool. So no matter what kind of night you're having, if nothing's working, everything you say is just a beat behind it, whatever, when you get to Baton Rouge, the whole clock's going to reset. It's going to set everything perfect. It's like having the power, no matter how much you're bombing as an entertainer, you introduce Trisha Yearwood, everything's fine, right? She's going to take it through the roof. You play Callin' Baton Rouge, everything is fine. And as much as I'd like to say that about any other song that we have, to be honest with you, I couldn't say it. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Alon with LSU TigerTV.
Alon.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you?
Good, how are you?
I am fantastic.
So, Callin' Baton Rouge is probably played at least once at every LSU event. So, how does it feel to be such a big part of LSU culture?
Well, it feels like it should be somebody else, right? So it would probably be like, I don't know, like in Alabama games, I'm sure Sweet Home Alabama is probably the thing, And when you go to San Francisco, if you play the Giants, like the baseball team there, it's Journey, and it just becomes this big thing. So it's kind of odd, and it's very cool that it happens to be something you're associated with. When I was playing, I went to school at Oklahoma State University in Stillwater up here. When I was playing clubs at night, you would play sing-alongs. And you'd play Billy Joe's Piano Man, Don McLean's American Pie, right? And these people would sing along, and you would go, man, how cool would it be to have some kind of part of a song that everybody sings, that everybody knows? Friends in Low Places might be touching that right now, but when people go, why, what's different about getting to play here? Friends in Low Places will not be the biggest song you play tonight. That's fun. Because then Friends in Low Places is always kind of big, the big stomping gorilla will now have to fight for its place tonight. But as well as that song is written as well, it'll hold up. It'll hold up really well. Yes, sir.
I was here when you played Baton Rouge last time. Not one of us had beers at that time. So
yes.
What's changed, I guess, in your show performances since then? Obviously, will be a stadium tour, not an arena. You're right across the street. But
yeah.
How have you evolved? How have your shows evolved?
Well, I can tell you this, that I was always scared to play stadiums because I would think they'd be cold and distant, right? That you couldn't get that one-on-one connection. But I'll tell you, it's crazy how warm a stadium is. And I know I'm a guy, I'm not supposed to say size matters, but having 100,000 people sing Friends in Low Places as opposed to 20,000, it's amazing. But where it really gets touching is the stuff like unanswered prayers or the river, that kind of stuff. When that happens, it just gets in your bones. And again, man, you're trying to be professional. You've done this for 157 years. But you end up crying like a baby up there when it happens. And that's a good feeling.
So it's high energy, and your show still has high energy as they.
Well, you know what? I wish we could talk afterward. You tell me. Because, it's a lot of ground to cover. Used to, you play inside what we call the dashers if you're in a hockey town or on a basketball court, right? So your stage used to be 50 feet wide maybe at the most, and maybe 20 feet, 25 feet deep. Here, try to understand, you're almost 50 yards wide, and you're almost 30 yards deep. So there's if you got a big ass, this isn't good for you, right? So the fat boy has to move around a lot, and it is fun. But what I learned a long time ago in Detroit, I learned it. I got my ass kicked in Detroit because I tried to lap it. But the truth is, you just sew it back and forth, because every front row is 360 degrees. You start sewing it, then the show will move a lot quicker. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Olivia with 225 Magazine.
Oh, Miss Olivia.
Okay, so my question is, you sold the stadium out in minutes, and your songs are almost like a soundtrack to game days, tailgates, and parties in Baton Rouge. So it's very obvious to me that you've had a huge impact on this city. So what does it mean, and what does the city of Baton Rouge mean to you?
Well, because you have a song called Calling Baton Rouge, it can go two ways. People can be embarrassed. Oh, geez, you can't believe it, kind of thing. In this town, it's just the opposite. And I don't know, you guys know this because you're in here, so you might not get this. LSU is one of the coolest places on the planet. They're viewed that way from everybody outside because you're not part of some big conglomerate, but yet you're national champions and you're proud and your colors stick out and your alumni is pretty prestigious as well. So to get the nod from the cool kids is very sweet. We've never been cool, so that's pretty fun. But what you just said, to get to be kind of like the fabric or the soundtrack of people's lives, you know who that is for me, is George Strait. That's Haggard. That's Jones. The greatest in history. So if I can ever be confused with those guys, or if I can ever be called a part of the soundtrack of somebody's life, then that makes me feel like maybe my music's doing for them what Strait's music did for me. Yes, sir.
To not be able to travel or be on the road because of COVID, but to be back here now and to see, you're talking about 100,000 tickets being sold in minutes. How has that reaction been, and how does it feel just to be back and, just a sense of going back to normal?
Sure. So in this room, I'm staring at 3 people right now, or 4 people, I guess, that we all toured together, and we were all 4 apart at the pandemic. You didn't get to see it, but I can tell you right now, these 4 people tell you the same thing I am. I don't think it's got anything to do with Garth Brooks, as much as it's got to be we're finally back where we belong, and that's together. We need to be together. It's just our human nature. So when we came out in Vegas, when the pandemic we thought was over the first time, came out in Vegas, the thing you noticed most was the happiness in the people's faces. Just get to be around people they loved, right? And then when it shut down again and it came back, now San Diego, Petco Parks, where we kicked this thing off, then Orlando. What you're seeing out there is this beautiful thing of people that are together. Now what I love is they bought tickets, but they don't know who they are because they're ticket in it here and this person here. If you're in a room, red and blue is probably going to come into it, politics, right? Skin color, religious belief, all this stuff. They don't care. They're singing the same songs, arm around each other. Get them out of the stadium, they probably wouldn't agree. But inside, when everyone's singing together, that's why I think, and I can be a dreamer here, but I think music is the voice of hope. I think it's a unifier. I think it's a healer. And in a time where we are separated more than ever, let's bring that music up. Let's get together. Let's all get in the same stadium together, and let's all sing together. And realize how much we're alike instead of how much we're different. Yes?
Hi Garth, my name is Jennifer. I'm with 225 Magazine.
Hi, Jennifer.
In January of 2020, Billboard announced this really remarkable statistic about you. They said that you became the first artist to make it on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020s. So having a front row seat to country music like you've had for so many decades now, I was curious, what are your thoughts on how country music has changed in recent years?
Okay, first of all, so I don't sound like I'm 130. Let's get this clear, okay? One, we entered in December of 1989 with If Tomorrow Never Comes, right?
Yeah.
And they're talking about Dive Bar, which came in January of 2020. So that's pretty good. You can touch 5 decades in the last week of one decade, the first week of another. But to say that you've been out here for 3 decades, it's been sweet. And have I seen it change? Yes, I have. Because before you're an artist, you're a fan. So you got to go all the way back to the 60s when your dad was raising you on Haggard and Jones, Buck Owens, and Pride, right? When you talk about the female artists, Wynette, Loretta Lynn. So you got all this. And then in the 80s, you kind of find it yourself. And here comes the artist with the most balls of any guy in the place, Reba McEntire. And she's from Oklahoma, right? So she's showing all us Okies, it's possible that here comes George Strait, which I fell in love with. Here comes Randy Travis, the savior of country music, in my opinion. Keith Whitley might be the greatest, him and Jones might be the greatest country singers ever. Chris Ledoux. And so you see it start to happen. Then the 90s come, and this guy named Garth Brooks comes. And everyone that loves traditional music does not like him because he's bringing a rock element into this thing from Boston, Queen, Styx, even though he was raised on these other guys. You can't deny the Eagles, James Taylor, Bob Seger, all that influence on your music. And so right then we were the bad guys. Like, I don't want to be the bad guys. I want to be the tradition. You're handing me the baton. I want you to be proud of it. And then as time goes on, we become the old sounding guys. Where, oh my God, those guys were stone country, right? And now the new guys that are doing some street thump in there, some hip hop, and some more poppy kind of stuff in there. They're doing exactly the same thing as we did. They're doing the exact same thing that Haggard did in his time. It's just new to country music. The one thing that must run true in country music forever is sincerity. That's who we are. We are the voice of, Haggard was known as the voice of the common man. That's what country music is. It's the 6 o'clock news, just put to music, right? So as long as these guys know that, as long as they understand and respect where country music came from, and their job is to keep it up, the last thing you want to do is, oh, you couldn't make it in pop, so now you're in country. But we've been facing that country music has been facing that forever. So as long as they stay sincere, I mean, I can listen to Luke Combs all day. I can listen to Ashley McBryde all day. I've got to write with Ashley McBryde, and she writes stuff that they wouldn't have touched in the 70s because it's too country, right? Those are the kind of people that I love that are in this business, and the business is in good hands in those people's hands. Yes, ma'am?
Hey, Garth. Annie Johnson with WVRZ.
Miss Annie?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Before you perform, what's usually the second before you open your mouth? What's going through your mind?
Ooh. Miss Annie, this is a story that everybody on our camp knows. So we did a little gig in Central Park in the late 90s, right? And my dad's with me. My dad was a Korean War veteran, Marine Corps, worked his whole life at a job that he was, pretty much gone in the morning and be home just in time at night to teach us kids to play baseball and stuff. So he was a very realist. He didn't want me to be in music, right? So he's standing beside me at Central Park when we're walking out about to go live on HBO, and a representative from the park puts a piece of paper in my hand. I go, what is this? He goes, that's the number of people that were out there 90 minutes ago at our last count. And it reads 850,000, right? They closed down Fifth Avenue. I look at my dad, and I look back at the guy and I go, are you telling me there's 850,000 people out there? He goes, no, I'm telling you 90 minutes ago there was 850,000 people out there. So the estimates were anywhere from 850 to 1.2. I look at my dad and I go, hey Dad, come on, 850,000 people. And I swear to you, Miss Annie, not because of any other thing that he loved me. He said, remember that's 850,000 people you can disappoint. Right? So the thing is, you don't win until you play the game. If these people show up like they have here, The last thing that's out of my mouth is a prayer that hopefully you represent yourself well, you represent God well, but you also want to treat the music well. Because the last thing I want to do is come out and disappoint 100,000 people. So my job is to keep that hopefully from happening all night, to where on socials and everything, hopefully let them say how good a night it was if it was, but it's not my place to say. So the last thing that comes out of my mouth before I start is just don't disappoint these people. You know what they came here for. They came here to have a good time. So whatever's in your crawl right now, Garth Brooks, leave it at the door. For the next 2 hours, there's nothing you can do about it. Go out and have the time of your life. And then when you always rediscover when you're out there, the greatest gift someone can give you is you just being yourself and I still love you. And that's what's going to happen tomorrow night. I get to be myself, flaws and all, right? Flaws and all. And these people are going to treat me better than I deserve. So it's a sweet time to be Mr. Yearwood out there on that stage. And so just enjoy it. Kind of thing. Yes, ma'am.
What, you were famous before social media?
What is the crutch for, can I ask?
I broke my leg.
Really? How'd you do that?
Fell down some steps.
Really?
In the dark.
You all right?
I had surgery.
Really?
It's a long recovery. It's humbling.
Okay. I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question is, so you were famous before social media, and certainly you're famous since social media. What's the biggest difference, or what's the most interesting difference?
I think the interesting difference is where we're not. So we fought like hell since day one to be off YouTube and continue to be. Because YouTube, if they're right here, I'll just tell them right now, they're more interested in making money than they are for doing anything good for music. I've talked with all their people. We all have an understanding that this is how I feel, they feel their way. No ill feelings, just we have a difference on how music should be treated. Same way with a couple other streaming companies, and we can all sit in a room and be friends and stuff, but we know each other's opinions. I think staying out of that has kind of helped. Let's take Ireland, for example. We were lucky enough to play Croke Park 3 nights over there while it was under construction, so it was half capacity. 2014, when we came out of retirement, we decided to start over in Ireland. In an hour and a half, however long this one was, we sold 400,000 tickets to the show over there. Then people are saying, well, how can this be? Because you haven't been on social media or anything. I think it's because people, and if anybody in here fits this, raise your hand. I think their mom and dads raised them on Garth Brooks stuff. And because we weren't on YouTube or stuff, the stories were great, right? The stories get better. These parents are saying, this guy's 7 foot tall, he's got abs and lots of hair, right? By this time. And so it makes you actually better than if you can just pull him up and see the guy. So I think it just depends how you look at social media. Do I think we'd still have a career today if we didn't engage social media? No. Do I think we have a better career than we've ever had because of it? Yes, I do. But social media is that 4-edged sword where 3 edges will cut your legs off, right? It's not good, and it's getting worse as we go. But it's a big tool, so that tool can be used both ways. You can use it to spread love, and that's what we try to hammer, is spread love. Because again, like we were talking, this world is more divided, especially this country, more than ever. If we get a chance to tell people to love one another, then we're going to take that chance. Yes, ma'am.
What's your life motto?
My life motto? I don't know. Miss Yearwood's always right. Can we try that one?
Smart.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Emily Dixon. I work with LSU Athletics.
Hi, Miss Emily.
Why was it important for you to take time out while you were here in Baton Rouge to talk with our student athletes?
Were you over there?
I wasn't, but I heard it was awesome.
Well, they're great. I told them, and no offense to the people coming, the most important thing I'll do this weekend, we just did. You're talking to young kids about their future. You're talking to them about loving one another. That's what you're talking about. Because again, you guys are cool, right? And you guys have the voice, you guys have the ear of the young, the youth. We don't, not my generation, because we're older. So we're better than we're better than the message to love one another, to be kind to one another, to treat people the way you want to be treated. Who better than to tell them that? So we need to encourage that in there. Because we tell this story at the end of the talk about let's say, does anybody have children in here? Okay, so how old is what's your oldest?
24.
Okay, so what is his or her name?
Peyton.
Okay, so you get a call here that Peyton's been in an accident. Get to the hospital because she's not going to make it. Shit, right? So you're driving as fast as you can get there, and all you can think about is just trying to get to her. You're running down the hall, trying to find a room, and you hear Peyton's laughter. You hear it as plain as day. You walk in the room, and there she is sitting up. Is Peyton a boy or girl? Sorry.
Boy.
Boy. So there he is sitting up. And you're going, is this a cruel joke or what is this? He goes, no, you're not going to believe this, but Peyton flatlined twice. And this doctor came in and said, I know what to do, and that doctor saved Peyton's life. You're just going to go, where's the doctor? The doctor said he'll be back. The doctor said the doctor will be back in a little bit. So now you're waiting for this doctor. Footsteps are coming down the hall. I have to ask you, do you care if this doctor is a male or a female? Black or white? Gay or straight? What religion they are? If it's a man wanting to be a woman or a woman trying to be a man, right? That's inclusion. That's love. That's how we should love. So that's the message we want to send to these kids at this point. So the people that don't have children, these children love one another. We're all we got, right? But for the parents that have kids, our job is to stop passing down the hate. Our job is to stop passing down the prejudice. Let it end with you, right? Have these kids love one another. That's the message, the most important message, I think, that we can bring to this time.
And just a random follow-up.
Yes, ma'am.
I work in creative video, and we would love a recording of Colin Baton Rouge for the stadium.
Oh, you know what? Trevor's here, and we're going to try and figure out what to do, but I think between him and all the Moo guys, the television guys, and the VR guys are here as well. We brought everything to put it together, but if you know these guys, they're constant professionals and perfectionists, so it might not be right after the show, but we'll get you something. And so if the tradition goes on that you play this, we'll bring you back a version that can go on the big screen that they can see themselves on, but there's going to have to be some airbrushing going on. There's going to have to be some tuning of the music going on. Okay?
Very talented.
No. I got this. Trust me. These people have been erasing these chins for years, honey, so they'll make sure it gets there. Yes, ma'am.
Anam Siddiqui with Channel 33 here
What is
in
your
Baton
name?
Rouge.
Anam.
Anam?
Anum.
Yes,
How do
you
you
got
spell
it
it?
right. A-N-U-M.
Anum. Okay.
Yes. So, exciting show, huge expectations. How do you prepare for a show like this, and do you feel like the pressure is on?
Yeah, you just got to get out of the way of it, though. Because they didn't come here to see some heavy guy bouncing around a stage. They came here for that set list, right? So here comes the first song. What's the second song? What's the third song? Stay out of the way of it. They love the music. They love the music more than the artist, because the artist is going to come and go. We all pass. But the music, it stays. So just don't get in the way of it, you know? Let them have it. And what's cool, it's like turning everything over to God, too. What's cool, when you turn your music over to them, what they bring back to you is so much cooler, right? And so they'll be encouraged to sing. I'll know in the first song and a half what kind of night it's going to be. And if these people came to sing, then it's my job to make sure that that's what you want to do. Some artists, for some reason, don't want you to sing. I don't get it. Some artists don't want people to dance. They want them to watch them. If you want to dance and sing, I think that's what God put me on this earth for, right there. So I'm going to encourage that every chance I get. Yes, sir.
What goes through your thought process when you're picking your set list for any show?
Fear. They'll be waiting for you with a noose at your bus if you don't play Call of Baton Rouge or Friends of the. So you just check that list. And before, again, remember we talked about this, before you do this, you're a fan first, right? So what pisses you off worse than going to your concert guy, and your concert guy dumps a whole new album on you and doesn't play any of the old stuff? And you're like, are you kidding me? So as an artist, know that, right? These are the songs they want to hear, play them. Thank God, and Alan Reynolds, the producer, there's not a song on there that I go, I wish I never had to play them. And so when you do these big interviews with these big magazines, they're going to ask you that because they want that song so badly to be Friends in Low Places, right? They want that answer. But what they don't understand is, I haven't sang Friends in Low Places in 30 years. You play that first 4 notes and then just watch what happens. It's the easiest gig on the planet to start a song, you finish it. Start the next song, you finish it. Even a guy that's been in this long as I have, I can do that all night long. Right there.
Baton Rouge is kind of notorious for tailgating. You know, and do you notice when crowds are pre-partied? and
Oh yeah,
ready to rock?
because you roll in here. It started in Jacksonville in the late 90s. For the first time ever, we had sold more tickets than we had shows, so we had to put on a matinee. And when we pulled in, they were tailgating. And I thought, oh yeah, come on, this can catch fire. So what we encourage everybody to do is wear their colors. I hope I see a lot of colors. I hope I see people wearing face paint tomorrow. I'm going to tell people to bring their helmet and their cup. That's what kind of night it's going to be tomorrow night. So that's what you encourage, because the more this can be a sporting event, trust me, the more fun it's going to be for all of us. Yes, ma'am.
To kind of piggyback off of that, I'm also a student at LSU, and
Okay.
to me, nothing is more electric than hearing your song before kickoff, and then if you say that long right before the fourth quarter.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would say maybe it's helped us with a few wins in the past few seasons ever since we've started playing it. So has that kind of turned you into an LSU fan a little bit, kind of
Oh, yeah.
seeing how
How
people
can you
sing
not?
along?
How can you not, man? And here's the thing with Good Luck Charms. It's only as long as you're winning. Right? Because Friends in Low Places, they've used it as 7th inning stretches for teams. They've gone to World Series, everything's great. The next year they have a crappy season, guess what's the first thing to get yanked, right? So Good Luck Charm, it's kind of like you have to walk the line. But yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said there wasn't a sweet kind of lean toward this college, simply from my own ego that they were sweet enough to use that recording of that song. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Connor McLaughlin. I'm
Hey,
with
Connor.
the Daily Red Believer at LSU. Well, this is kind of a two-part question.
Okay.
First, can I get a Go Tigers?
Oh, what kind are you talking about? Because the most famous one in the last few years is Go Tiger.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd he say? Go Tiger. Yes.
You're giving your own Go Garth Brooks.
Just a Go Tigers?
Yeah.
I'll probably give it tomorrow night. I'll see you try and stay out because they call the pigs, they call the hogs with pig suey at Razorback Stadium last year. All I did was lead it. I'm not going to get in the middle of it because nobody can do it like you guys can.
Garth, I think we might need to start
Okay.
the one-on-ones.
Okay. Yeah, 2 seconds. Let's get the people that had questions. We'll get it done. And your second.
Well, who called you down to Baton Rouge for here to come?
Ben Farrell is the promoter on all this stuff. And Ben, I challenged him on this one. I said, dude, you understand how many people that holds? And this is, if you know Ben Farrell, he said this, 104,317. If you're not counting the handicap section there, that's going to be a little more. And then you got all those suites up there. Now, they won't release that information, but that's Ben Farrell, so he knows it. I tried to talk him out of it because there was no way we would sell that many tickets. And so on ticket sale day, I was blown away. I was in the air flying somewhere, and when I left, the ticket sale hadn't gone on. When I landed, it was gone. And I couldn't believe it. So I feel very lucky to be standing here. And tomorrow night is going to be a lot more for me than anybody else in that stadium. Be fun. Anybody that wanted a question, get one? We'll move to one-on-ones now.
Yes.
You with that?
Yeah.
Thank you.